all-new Dr. Phil. Dad says he's frightened
I'm a prisoner in my home.
of his wild,
My dad is the one that's starting all these fights.
awful,
I'm giving him another chance.
You're talking about giving him a chance. You're living in his house.
violent sons.
Why do you have 3 baseball bats?
To defend myself.
And you wrote a book about
Success and happiness.
what chapter listed baseball bats for being happy? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Xavier and Melissa say they gave their 3 sons everything. Family trips to Europe, boating, tours, water skiing, parasailing vacations, even a house on a canal with a pool. Now, whatever the boys needed, their parents gave it to them, even after they divorced 10 years ago. But now, Xavier and Melissa claim nothing they did worked with their 2 oldest sons, 23-year-old Jonas and 21-year-old Tristan. Now, Xavier claims his boys are so out of control that he needs to barricade himself in his bedroom all day and night, armed with 1, 2, 3 baseball bats. Take a look.
I'm not moving and you can't get past me because I'm here. So if you touch me, I will defend myself.
Sometimes I'm frightened of my own sons.
No! He did it wrong!
Jonas and Tristan do drugs, vape.
You've stolen thousands of dollars with which you've bought drugs.
Jonas will come in my face, he will push me, he will punch me.
I am high, and I feel like getting more high now. Okay? So
Hey, stop it!
He's broken doors, he stole cars, he spawned stuff.
I stole a lot of money, thousands.
I think I've taken 2,000 something. That was my game addiction.
We're talking about closer to $10,000 of just pure theft. Over the last 4 or 5 years, Jonas has been in and out about 20 or 25 times of a psych ward.
And so I had to break the door down. Look, there's a new door. I didn't even know.
Jonas has been arrested 2 or 3 times, and Tristan at least once. Here, Tristan was just upset, and he just slammed the lamp. This bowl here has a foot, and he just broke it, and then he took that lamp, and he just literally lifted it up and just slammed it to the floor.
My brother grabbed this picture, right, and started going at it.
Just the physical damage is probably like $10,000 or $12,000.
I lock myself in my room most of the time. I have one bed that I keep close to the door, and then I have another bed right next to my bedroom, and then I have a foam bed right there, just in case I have to actually fend them. I feel like a prisoner in my own home. This is terrible. I don't know how to stop it.
But the boys say their father is just putting on a show for the producers and is basically just an absentee parent who pays no attention to his children. Take a look.
My dad is in his room because he's staging us, trying to make us look violent when we're not. We're passionate and we're pissed that we're not hurt. So we curse and we knock on the door. My brother likes to break things.
Tristan, 3 weeks ago, put a big hole here.
My dad spends 10 to 13 hours in his room every day. I'm trying to talk to him, and either he'll be in and out the kitchen, it'll be like real quick. He treats the kitchen like a little drug deal. Like, oh, I get my bagel and I run to my room and I lock myself in there. But I'll be saying something to him, he's like, oh, I can't talk now. And you can't listen to a simple request.
I knock on your window 7 times a day. You're always on your phone. You're always busy. My dad is the one that's starting all of these fights. Wow, I'm DJ. What did you get you looking for? Stop! This is how it happens. I go out and I get my pot and I smoke. I get back, he's in the kitchen somehow. He comes up to me, in my face, he grabs my shirt. Oh, you're high! You're high! And he starts yelling at me and I'm like, yeah, okay, so what? What the f? Get off me. Why are you talking about drugs?
Because you don't have it out of your system.
The voice says, you did pot. And then after that, he'll run to my room and he'll take my weed that I rode like 20 miles for. And that I smoke like 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. After my dad takes my stuff, I'll knock on the door loudly.
He came after me. He opened the door, slammed the doorknob made a hole in my wall.
My dad instigates a lot of fights.
So I went in your room. The second I did that, you got a bat, and he chased me out of the room. My dad bullies me.
Okay, good to meet you guys.
It's great to meet you.
They're saying you're absentee dad. How much time do you spend in your room?
Most of the time, by necessity.
So you just go in there and shut the door?
I have to.
Well, apparently that doesn't mean much.
I woke out
Do
of
they
my
break your
room to
door
have
down?
breakfast. I greet him gently, say good morning, and the answer is, oh, what do you want? Expletive, expletive, expletive. Get the expletive out of here. They immediately start vaping and going to the backyard to smoke marijuana.
I give you chances every day.
You
I
give him
suggest-
chances? What do you mean?
He's written a whole book about this, where he should know how to deal with every situation with
So
his kids.
you're a life coach,
It's in a matter of speaking, yes.
and you wrote a book about...
Success and happiness.
Well, I mean, it is ironic.
Yes, and I try to do my best every day for both boys. They have no appreciation for it.
Did they read the book?
We're forced to.
No,
We're forced to.
no.
Yes.
What
And then you'll
chapter
get-
listed baseball bats for being happy?
Oh, I have a chapter on anger. They are classic examples of boys that are angry all the time.
But you're the one with the baseball bats. You have 3 in the room. Why do you have 3 baseball bats?
To defend myself.
Well, we're not
of
trying to break
getting-
in your room.
Okay,
I'm
well, I have a
risking-
hand up in the audience, and this is your 17-year-old son, right?
He can't protect himself just by using his hands against these boys because they will literally team up on him.
Okay, and you
it's
live with
never
your
happened.
mother.
Yes, I do live with my mother.
So you're not in the house when all this is going on?
No, but I have a very good idea of what's going on.
And you believe this guy? This brother and that brother were holding me down with 2 arms, and you grabbed your cane. You're lunging back with this cane. Are you really gonna stab me with this cane?
I remember trying to separate you from your brother.
I was the only one high that day. How do you guys not remember that?
Exactly, you were high.
Did I make
You
it
have
up?
delusions.
Did I make it up?
Yes.
I made it up. Okay,
If
I made it
nobody
up.
else remember it,
I'm
and
crazy.
you're the
I will
only one
continue
high,
taking my meds.
you made it
Let's
up.
up the dosage.
What is wrong with you people? What? You're talking about this like it's ordering lunch. Does this seem
We've
normal
been through this
to you?
fight so many. Yes, because we've been through this fight so many times.
Told him like, oh, you're crazy.
What's
like,
this picture here?
I think I was brooming up or I'm not sure. That falling.
So this is not you going after your father with a broom?
No.
Yeah.
Behind him, Dr. Phil, is evidence of a glass table that he just broke there on the patio. I dared stepping out of my room, take a picture, and he said, hey, don't expletive, take a picture of me. And eventually he hit me after I took this picture.
So you seem like a pretty passionate sweeper there. That's just you just sweeping up.
Yeah,
You're not
'cause
threatening your father
No,
at
there's
this point.
glass on the floor. I don't want to get hurt. I had to make sure it all got cleaned.
Jonas says his father is setting him up to be a failure. Take a look.
You're drugging yourself. You have to give me those meds.
Do you want the Seroquel or the Adderall?
Both.
Nope. Not gonna happen, buddy.
I will tell the doctor and he will stop prescribing them.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not taking meds. I'm fine without doing any more acid. I'm fine with doing no more smoking weed. But you want me to up. You want to get at me. You're in for me. I thought I hated you. You hate me.
How do you feel about him? Is it right?
I am disappointed. I feel that he's not cooperating in continuing
do you ever feel
in
like
motion.
You hate him?
No, I don't hate anything or anyone.
Okay, how is this so off the rails?
They have psychological problems. Jonas has been diagnosed, as well as Tristan, but Jonas has a formal diagnosis. And he has to take meds, but often refuses to take his meds. The effect it has on him makes him just spin out of control. They are drowning, and they're dragging me with them. I'm here on this show to ask you, when is it okay for me to let go if they don't want to help themselves? I want to get back to the surface, swim to shore, and move on with my life.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to stop talking euphemisms and metaphors and images, and we're going to talk about what's really going on, not swimming and drowning and I don't know what the hell all that's about. Coming up, Xavier says his sons disrespect him because their mother does, that she models it, so they think it's okay. We're going to add her to this conversation, and then we're going to get real here. We'll be right back.
Because
This year, Jonas was arrested in front of an elementary school about a week after the massacre happened in Fort Lauderdale. He was shouting obscenities to kindergarten-aged children in the schoolyard. Then I learned from the FBI that Tristan was posting things involving weapons online. 2 agents of the FBI came to investigate about both Jonas and Tristan, letting us know that their behavior and their profile was eerily similar to the shooter from the Fort Lauderdale massacre that killed 17 people.
Now, Xavier's ex-wife, Melissa, says their sons should be self-sufficient adults, but instead they're out-of-control children who are not even allowed in her home.
growing up, the kids had a privileged life. We took vacations, we went to Europe. They didn't want for anything. I think because I worked a lot and then Xavier and I were divorced, I did have a tendency to overcompensate and spoil the kids.
My ex-wife and I married and divorced twice. At the time of our second divorce, it is actually historically the time in which they started experimenting with marijuana.
Jonas and Tristan both lived with me until I forced Jonas into rehab. After rehab in 2015, I told Jonas that he had to go live with his father. Tristan did live with me up until 2017. When Tristan loses a video game, he loses control and he can break things. When I told Tristan that the video games, the computer was gone from my house, he literally packed everything in a backpack, including the computer, and rode his bike to his father's house. So at this point, Jonas and Tristan are not allowed to visit my house because my fiance does not condone their behavior.
When I need a break, and I can sometimes not handle Jonas and Tristan, she is unwilling to take him on in their house.
It probably is better that I'm not with them, but at the same time, I feel like they need some positive influence, and they're not getting it. Xavier has the tendency to exacerbate situations.
I don't follow, Robert. You don't know how to follow.
Then he's lost complete control. Definitely Tristan and Jonas are the problem, and living with Xavier is part of the problem.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I want to ask each of you a question, and Melissa, I'll get to you last. But in terms of family dysfunctional assessment here, Jonas, I'll start with you. If this is as dysfunctional as it gets, and down there's the Brady Bunch, that's as functional as it gets.
Yeah.
Where, I'm going to put a mark up here for you. Where would you put it?
Probably right about where you're standing, in your back.
About right
there.
here?
That looks about it. But when we're in the fight, extremely dysfunctional.
Okay, so you would put it here.
Yes.
Okay, Tristan, where would you put it? How dysfunctional or functional is this family?
I say it definitely ranges, but maybe around the middle mark towards...
So you would say it's in here?
Yeah, it ranges.
Okay, so you would come here. Okay. Wow, so y'all see that very different. Okay, Xavier, where would you put it?
Dr. Phil, I believe your scale isn't right.
It's not an essay question.
I
Just
think
where
it's
would you put it?
Way to the left of your stage.
Okay.
You
So
want to go
you
back
would
there and show
come.
us and just not come back?
No, Dr. Phil, because you can't even imagine how dysfunctional it
Okay,
is.
gotcha.
So if it's dysfunctional, that's there. It's
Okay.
way beyond.
Okay, gotcha.
dysfunctional.
Put an arrow.
It is not alive. Yes.
It's that
yes.
way.
I'm a prisoner in my home.
Adrian, where would you put it?
I'll put it right where the O is in dysfunctional.
So you would put it here.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Okay. Melissa, where would you put it?
I'd put it close to where Adrian is.
Tristan, you think this is pretty typical.
Yeah.
So you think most fathers are in their bedrooms with 3 bats?
No, not with the bats per se, but most fathers out there working, doing their hustle. He has the stock market, so I see he has a need to be in his isolated area.
Uh-huh. So y'all were divorced,
We were.
then you got remarried,
We did.
and then you got divorced again.
We did. I love you guys very much, and you know that.
Yeah.
But it's not an excuse for you to be disrespectful, for you to call your father names, for you to call me names, for
What
you
do they
to...
call you?
Well, the B word, the word, the W word.
This is recently.
Yes. I have text messages from both of them. Don't call me again. Consider this our last...
Is there
And
anything else I should say besides
always-
those words, or do you feel like you deserve that?
No, I feel like I don't deserve that
'Cause
as
I
your
feel
mother.
cornered, and I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna curse.
Dr.
And
Phil, I
maybe
will
she'll
back her
take
up
No.
entirely.
I don't.
She'll take it
kids
seriously. Like, I
need
just called you that
life
word and you were my mother.
Teaching.
Like, wake up. Like, why did I call you that?
That's...
Are you justifying it? You're saying she deserves this.
I don't know what else to say.
And I believe
Well,
he does.
is that because you don't have much of a vocabulary, or because you think she deserves that?
That hurts me.
What?
That I don't have much of a... Come on, man.
What? No, I'm asking you a question. Are you saying you run out of words, so you call her degrading things, or are you trying to hurt her? What do you mean you don't know what else to
They're
say?
just words. To me, they're just words.
We're going to take a break and come back. I have a question for these two boys. We'll be right back.
5 years ago, I started authoring a book on success and happiness.
My dad forced me to read his book. It's supposed to be how you're supposed to act in life to get everything you want.
I find it troubling that he wrote the book at a time when his oldest son was spiraling downward. I don't know much about the book because I haven't read it.
I wrote the book to try to help anybody who needs help. Deep down, I believe that this was my legacy to my kids. And what's most painful is that neither of my kids or Melissa ever had any appreciation for the depth of my feelings and my passion about that. I stand all alone. But when I feel really beaten down and I find there is no alternative, I'll pick up my own book and read it. Letting go doesn't mean denying, but accepting.
He pretends to be our friend and all nice and goody-goody, but he only gives that like vibe off to other people to like promote his book, because that's what he's all about. He never stops talking about it.
To most people, it may sound ironic that I try to teach about success and happiness, but I could not think of a better life that I've created for myself than now.
Okay, I said I had a question. Do you two have resentments towards him? Do you harbor resentment towards him?
No, I don't.
You do not.
No.
Do you?
There's a lot of trauma that I'll just never get over.
Okay, and that's left bad feelings with you. You said there's a lot of trauma you haven't gotten over.
Deep down inside, even though I'm mad at him, that I do love him. But I don't think that deep down inside him that he loves me anymore.
Okay, so you don't feel loved by him?
No, you'd expect.
Sure.
Dada, Papa, you know, he's a figure that's gonna love you, and he's
Right.
gonna help you out through hard times.
And you don't feel accepted by him?
Not at all, no.
Because, I mean, he has said very harsh things about both of you in here. He says you're a bunch of druggy, lazy losers.
They want the old Jonas back. I was a very good kid up until 8th grade, until I got arrested for possession.
At this point, your relationship with him, you would say, is combative. You expect every day is going to be button heads.
I'm prepared for the worst, yeah.
Okay, and it happens.
It happens.
And it's the same with you. You guys butt heads.
Yeah, in a different sense.
All right, then tell me this. Why are you still there?
To figure out if he still loves me. Does he want to just... They think for me, it's either homeless, prison, or, you know, get a better job and move out, get a girlfriend. You know, they're so... I don't know. They think that we're perfect. We're not perfect.
Well, I don't think they think you're perfect. No, I don't. I think they think you're very flawed. But tell me this. If, let's say that both of them tomorrow just disappeared. They just went into the witness protection program tomorrow. You couldn't find them, neither of you. What would you do?
There's nothing I could do. I would be homeless.
And you're how old?
23?
21, 23, 17? So where do you think you would be at 30?
30? Definitely out of the house. I don't know. I have a big dream of becoming a famous DJ.
One thing I believe very strongly is the difference between a dream and a goal
Yeah.
is a timeline and an action plan. A dream is just like, boy, someday. But I've looked
think
at
of it
my
much in my
calendar,
dreams.
and someday is not a day of the week. It's not on there. So you have to have a plan to get from where you are to where you want to go. Do you have that?
I have all the mixes. I have all the music that I've made.
Gotcha. But do you have a plan to get that first job, to get that second job in the industry?
Yes.
And how do you plan to fund this journey?
I have a
Plan-
job
and-
where I'm not doing the saving that I want to be doing, that I should be doing. You know, taking this a little more seriously and prepare for my future, because I'm going to be kicked out or going to prison. I haven't realized that until now, and I have to make a plan.
Yeah, things are going to change, but it doesn't have to be a destructive change. It can be a constructive change.
That's what I'm thinking. I think he wants it to be destructive, but like I'm all here. I'm giving him another chance.
Well, you're
I can
talking about
stop
giving
smoking
him a
pot.
chance. You're living in his house.
Yeah, I know.
You know, you have to work together. All right, look, coming up, Tristan and Jonas say marijuana is natural, and it's legal in some states, and there's just nothing wrong with smoking it. Well, we're going to talk about that when we come back.
I was having a bad day, and I told my dad I was suicidal. And he said, well, you should just kill yourself. I was distraught.
Just last week, I told him I wanted to be a doctor, and he just put in my face saying, oh, you don't have the potential.
Nothing in your life choices convinces me that you'll be an excellent doctor.
Yeah, I can't do anything to his pleasing, so I'm gonna do what I want.
My youngest son, Adrian, lives with his mother and her boyfriend.
My dad, he can't leave the house with my brothers at the home. He can't leave them alone. So he's watching the kids too, as in they're babies, but like they're grown.
Adrian is a great kid. He doesn't get in trouble. He does his own thing, and it's usually the right thing.
Adrian is well behaved and he's ambitious.
I feel jealous of Adrian because he's my father's favorite, and my dad is never proud of me because he's always proud of Adrian.
He comes out, if my little brother comes to stop by, and they'll have a friendly conversation, or they'll go grab a bite to eat, but they don't include us.
Well, I'm very appreciative and grateful for what I get, but I'm not babying. I get what I want, and I get it by myself.
Well, Melissa says her youngest son, Adrian, is a good kid, drug-free, planning to attend college next year. But Jonas says he's good because he gets to live in a calm house, which certainly helps. Now, look, I need to start weighing in here on some things, and I assume y'all want my opinion about this.
Absolutely, that's what we're here to.
I am going to weigh in and tell you what I think's going on here, and I don't think you're the problem.
Thank you.
I don't think you're even almost the problem. I don't think you're the problem. I think this is a family dynamic problem. The fact that you're smoking dope and that sort of thing all day long is not okay. And I want to show you, when you look at the brain, that there are parts of the brain, particularly until you're 25 years of age, in particular, that are affected by marijuana because the brain is really paring itself back during that period of time. And if you blow this apart, you've got the nucleus accumbens here, and this is a pleasure center. And the actual structure of the nucleus accumbens is affected by the use of marijuana, even on an occasional basis, but certainly on a regular basis. And that changes. And when you're also right down here, we're talking about the amygdala, and that is where the fear center is based. That's one of the arousal centers, and that changes as well. And you also, in other parts of the brain, the striatum, dopamine levels change. They're very low. All of these things have to do with motivation, emotion, depression, the ability to get yourself up and get yourself going. And when you continue to use marijuana on a regular basis, your motivational level goes down, your initiation levels go down, your ability to get yourself started and making plans and moving forward goes down. There's difficulty in thinking and problem solving, problems with memory and learning, impaired reaction time and coordination and concentration, decreased cognitive flexibility and visual scanning, difficulty maintaining attention, lower academic success, higher likelihood of dropping out of school, increased depression and or anxiety, higher risk of psychosis if there's a family history, lower life satisfaction, poorer physical health. All of these things are associated with regular use of marijuana. And every one of those things are weaving in and out of one of y'all's lives.
It's not the answer, but it does make me feel a different way than being anxious. It's better than feeling anxious or depressed or something.
But that's not the only way. If you had other coping skills, if you had other coping strategies where you didn't need that, you would use those, correct?
Yeah, I would do everything in my power that I could.
Are Melissa and Xavier sabotaging their sons without realizing it? We're going to talk about that next.
When Jonas has stolen.
When Tristan breaks an iPhone, his mother will give in and buy him a phone.
I've probably spent $1,500 in replacing cell phones. When Jonas has stolen things, I have gone to the pawn shop and bought it back. I probably spent $1,000 to $2,000. Jonas and Tristan have actually overdrawn checking accounts. I've probably spent $1,500 to rectify those bank accounts. To get Jonas out of jail, I have only spent about $500. I've spent $8,000 on rehab, as well as $5,000 on doctors. I do send Xavier some rent money. For the boys, it's $1,000. And I also allow him access to a credit card, of which he spends about $500 a month for taking them out to dinner.
The boys overall have done about $12,000 of damage in the home. But if I kick the kids out of the house, they would be homeless, and they would definitely get arrested.
I don't know that the boys are mature enough at 23 and 21 to take care of themselves.
Would you guys agree that your raising of these boys has not been a big success?
Yes, absolutely.
I've always been there. And I haven't told you to kill yourself. I told you, I asked you because you had me really worked up. You said, I want to kill myself. I said, what is stopping you? Because I really wanted you out of my face.
With all due
I never
respect,
meant anything.
Xavier. Okay, the boys do the wrong thing. They're disrespectful, they're mean, they're hurtful.
Yes.
They don't take responsibility for what they have done. They're not empathetic to us. But you do have a tendency to exacerbate situations.
If you think that is the case, why don't you just take as many of my suitcases in the house you want, pack your stuff, and go out.
Give me some of your money.
I want freedom. I'll give you money? What money? Get your job,
I make
get your work.
$400
You're
a month working for Burger
23 years
King.
old.
That's
You're
it.
23 years old,
I wish I
and
could
you've
be more
done
like that.
nothing in 5 years.
Why?
Nothing. Take all the suitcases you want. I'll buy you some more. Take your stuff. Get it out of my
Ever
house.
since 8th grade summer, you have never treated me the same.
I want my freedom. I've had no relationship. I've had no freedom. I don't have any friends. I can't
Okay.
go out.
I thought
I'm
maybe-
afraid all
maybe
the time
you
you're
could-
going to steal. You break into my room, stealing my credit card, all the cash, my credit card, and the car. You went around. You smoked marijuana while I was trying to
How much
recover.
do I owe
And
you?
in the morning, I discover all this.
I'm
It was a
talking to you, but you're not
huge
talking back.
disappointment. I trusted you, and you betrayed me. I can never trust you, not one iota. And that is breaking my heart.
I know what I have
live
to do.
with
I have to
people
move
that I have
out,
to
right?
fear.
I have to move out. That's the only thing, because you're not going to change.
No, you have to get help. That is what I want for
Okay,
you.
what are we talking about? Rehab?
I let this go on for a while for a reason. How many times have you had him arrested or put in a psych ward?
I did not have him arrested.
Probably-
Out of necessity, I called the police. They decided. I actually tried to.
How many times have the police
25.
been called?
Oh no, the police. The police are called on an ongoing basis.
It is his means of dealing. His
Would you say
means
50
of addressing
times?
the problem is
I'm not
calling
going
the
to confront
police.
them physically and fight.
Would
So-
you say 50 times?
Yes. They've been dispatched to my house in the last 2 years alone 50 times.
50 times.
50 times.
And isn't it true that they just don't want to come anymore?
Yes.
Is this the way that you talk to the kids, the way you've been talking here?
Oh, they get me worked up. No, I don't usually talk. I just walk away.
No, that is how you speak to people.
Yeah, because here's what I think. I think the way people behave here, particularly if I give you just a little bit of runway, I think the way people are here is a microcosm to the way they are out there. Coming up, Xavier and Melissa say they've tried everything to get their sons on the right path. I just don't believe that. I think what we saw here is what they call trying everything, which is yap, 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 getting worked up, yelling, complaining. I bet they haven't tried what I'm going to talk about. We'll be right back. Xavier and Melissa say that they're worried that if they stop helping their two sons, that the boys will become homeless, they'll be heroin addicts, and that they'll just lose them forever. If what you're doing is helping, please stop.
Thank you.
Because you're sabotaging here. And I need you to stop sabotaging these boys.
Okay, I'm listening.
I need you to stop sabotaging them. I think your heart is in the right place. I think both of you want the best for your boys, all three of them. I really do. I think you want the best for your boys. But I think their behavior has become so outrageous that you feel justified in saying, you know, look at this, my God. I mean, I'm a hostage in my own home. Look at this. I'm threatened. I'm pushed around. I'm bullied.
They pushed me out to my room, Dr.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, I'm listening.
You know, some people are just long on mouth and short on ears. And I need you to be long on ears.
Okay.
I need you to really listen here to what I'm saying. You don't have the ability to turn their life at this point. Would you agree?
I agree.
You're too close to it. I mean, y'all have got,
agree. I
you
agree.
got too much. You got too much baggage going on between you.
Yes.
And at this point, this young man has sat here and said that the message he's getting from you right now is he's really confused. Now, like it or not, you two got married, you had children, you got a divorce. It had a profound effect on these young men. It had a particularly profound effect on this young man.
Yes, I know.
Then you got remarried. Now, my belief is you get out, stay out. But you got remarried, so it's like, oh, we're going back. Oh, no, we're not. We're in, you know, we're out, we're in, we're out, we're in. So they're on an emotional roller coaster here. And this all seems to happen about the time that he starts doing drugs and hanging out with the wrong crowd, and things seem to start turning. That's correlational, but you just can't ignore the coincidence, right? About the time that the family unit starts fragmenting, the boys seem to start fragmenting.
Or at least Jonas.
Do the math.
Yes, no.
Okay? So you got to have some ownership in that.
Absolutely.
And was anything ever constructively done? You start parenting with the police, and you say, well, I'd rather have him in a psych ward than in jail. So he winds up on a psych ward time and time and time again. What kind of message does that deliver? Not good.
I have to tell you, the worst part of those visits were that my family would try to come and visit me and act like it's all cool. And I would see them leave, and, you know, they're so happy they get to leave this place. But I have to watch them leave, and then I have to get back to my psych ward business.
Yeah. So you start self-medicating. And guys, I'm not just telling you this to hear myself talk. You're going to have to make a choice. You can either sit around and smoke dope, or you can get your lives in order. You can't do both. It's just that simple. We're going to go at this in a lot of different ways for both of you, okay? Because what I want to do is I want to help you with, I think you're addicted to marijuana. I want to help you with that. I think you need life coaches that, I mean, do everything from helping you get resumes together, get training together, get introduced to right people if you want to get working in the music area. I've got a son that's a musician, and he's probably the last guy you'd pick out as being my son. And he's hugely successful, and he's works really hard at it, and I know that business, and I'm willing to help you and support you, but you've got to get your ducks in a row personally, emotionally, because nobody's going to work with you if you're doped up all the time, don't show up half the time, you're not reliable. You got to get yourself together first. One resource I have here, this is Dr. Kaligi, by the way. Say hello, Dr. Kaligi.
Hi.
This is Dr. Mannion. Say hi.
Hi, Jonas.
Dr. Kaligi is founder and executive director of Creative Care. It is a gorgeous facility in Malibu, California. And Dr. Mannion is the clinical director there. They call in outside resources. They work to get a person's life moving forward. I want to come up with a plan for both of you, not to just stop doing drugs, but to start doing the things you need to do to get where you want to go. Yes. And when I say life coach, I'm talking about somebody that will work with you on a strategy and a plan for your life to get where you want to be, both short-term and long-term. And are you willing to do that?
Yes.
And what you guys have to do is allow this to work and not keep trying to do old behaviors to get new results.
Dr. Phil, I thank you. I'm glad that they respond positively. I was afraid today that they would say they don't want to go.
And you have to be willing to work as hard as they're working.
Absolutely.
So, you know, come Christmas this year, next year, down the road, that you guys can have a good, healthy family dynamic.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got to stop for now, but we're going to follow up on this and keep everybody abreast of what's going on. I want to thank my guests today. As I said, this isn't just about these boys, it's about this whole family. And I want to have a special thanks to Dr. Kaligi and Dr. Mannion from Creative Care. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. We'll see you next time. Okay?